Good evening. Today is a very sad day and with heavy heart, I want to inform my USI members that our beloved teacher of teachers, Professor P. Venugopal, passed away today morning. And then he was one of the youngest past president of USI. He was believed in starting pediatric urology as a subspecialty, and he traveled around the country as an examiner, as a teacher, and then he was one of the most loved teachers amongst all past presidents of USI. His wife Nalini used to accompany him in the past USI meetings, and we knew her also very well. He is survived by his son, who is a radiologist, and two granddaughters. So with heavy heart today, we are offering, the USI is offering this condolence meeting for the members of USI. So to begin with, I will request Dr. Lakshman Prabhu, who is his direct disciple and student, to have a little information about Dr. Professor P. Venugopal's biography. Dr. Lakshman, please.
Thank you, sir. President-elect Lalit sir, IPP, Dr. Rabin Sabnis, immediate past secretary, Dr. Keshav, and several disciples and my Guru Bandhus of Professor P. Venugopal. With a heavy heart, I would like to go through a brief biographical sketch of this teacher of teachers. And I would request your patient indulgence. And I would at this very outset tell all those who are logged in that please write your obituary in the chat box, because Dr. Venugopal had touched many lives and there'll be many wanting to share their interactions with him. And we have also proposed, I am proposing a special supplement of our newsletter, which will be released in the third week of August. And I request all the members to send their write-ups about Professor P. Venugopal before the 15th of August this month. I will be sending a circular to this effect. Professor P. Venugopal was, as you all know, that his birthday is very easy to remember. He was born on the Valentine's Day in the year 1940. He did his MBBS from the Government Medical College, Pondicherry, then the Madras University, MS from Trivandrum Medical College, and then he did his MCH from CMC Vellore under the Doyen of Urology, Professor Attangadi Sashidhar Bhatt. Now he is the second disciple of Professor HSB. The first one you all know, Dr. Mohan Rao, who became famous by doing the first successful renal transplantation in Vellore. Thereafter, Venu sir, as he is mononymously referred to as, he was always called as Venu sir, and some refer to him as PVG sir. After a stint in Vellore, short stint, he went to Newcastle upon Tyne, United Kingdom, for a Commonwealth Fellowship. And then he returned at the, I would say, behest or order of Professor H.S. Bhatt, because Professor H.S. Bhatt is from Udupi area, and Dr. T.M.A. Pai, the founder of Kasturba Medical College, was looking for a urologist. And Venu sir was asked to move into Manipal. In fact, we have to be grateful to the Doyen. And here, Professor Venu sir strove relentlessly and started the Department of Urology and one of the earliest MCH courses in the country. After those in Delhi, Madras, then erstwhile Madras, Vellore, and of course, PGI Chandigarh. This was the one which followed after these pioneering units, I would say. And they all are grandparents to most of the departments which we are helming at the moment. I must also say here that he was the youngest USI president ever. And the UCCon, which he had organized in Manipal, was remembered for years together by our senior members. And there was a seated banquet on the Malpe beach where I am told that each one was served by those attending. He was instrumental in starting of the Journal of Urology, and he was the treasurer in the governing council of IJU for a long time, and he had mobilized a lot of funds for IJU, and it had gladdened his heart immensely when the IJU had earned the impact factor of 1.2 this year. Of course, he had delivered several orations, and he had instituted many awards, and he had nurtured many orations and awards, many of them eponymous, and some of them have now been removed for various admin reasons. He delivered the Himadri Sarkar oration, and that document is considered as a classic, where he had discussed his approach to large ureters. He chose the word large ureters and not mega ureters or wide ureters. Professor Venu sir had nurtured 26 candidates in Manipal, and then he moved on to several places, landed in his disciples' department in Belgaum, and he helped Dr. Nerli to start the MCH course in Belgaum, and there he had one student, late Manohar Shetty. And then he came down to Mangalore, and when he was superannuating, he felt that he should continue to be in teaching. So he helped the Kasturba Medical College, Mangalore, to nurture a department. His greatest contribution in the twilight years of his life was he was teaching from his room, the 8th floor of Symphony Apartments on Stark Road. And he, I would say, democratized urological education. So he felt that those who even don't have time also can be given capsules of urology. And those who are very erudite, he would send length articles. And those who are practitioners, he will send them tips, which had really democratized Uro education. And there was a platform which he had nurtured, which was very popular, and some of you, I think, have corresponded with him intensely. Anybody wanting any information on any topic in urology, Venu sir was the answer. You write to him and he would send a bouquet of articles. This much and he continued to teach. And post-COVID, he was advised not to come to the department because in a centrally air-conditioned environment, it would be too much for his body. But yet, he tried to attend most of the functions, if not the entire duration of the function, for a brief time. Last few days, he was a little unwell, and it was his desire that he should not be moved to a hospital, because he had decided that the time has come for him to leave the material coil and then move on. We know that Professor Venu sir is not going to be in his material frame in our midst, but in the soul format to most of us. Some of us are his direct disciples, and many are his vicarious disciples who all benefited from his teachings. His wife, Nalini Madam, was like a mother to most of us, his direct disciples, and her premature demise had saddened him, and he had slowed down considerably because of that. But then he said, it was again, my teaching and my students have given me a second innings. His son, Dr. Anand Venugopal, is a radiologist by training, and currently he is the COO for all the teaching hospitals of our group. He is also survived by his daughter-in-law and 2 granddaughters. I find many of his disciples logged in, but protocol demands that we go in a order with the president-elect and the IPP briefly. And then if I find any past president, I can see Dr. Ganesh Gopal Krishnan, Dr. Mahesh Bhai Desai. Ganesh sir, if you are listening to me, you will say 1 or 2 words about Venu sir. And then we will request, depending on time permitting, we will have brief I would say, request people to pay their homage. And with this, I would request, I'll go back to President Kulkarni. Sir, you can, I think, request the President-elect and the IPP interns, and then the past presidents, and then we will move on to Venu sir's disciples and the pediatric section. I must here add that he had an abiding interest in pediatric urology. Until his last breath, he was saying that pediatric urology should stay with the urologists. And this is something which, a concept which he was holding on to steadfastly. But of late, we find our youngsters saying that. But this is what Venu sir has been saying for 5 decades, that urology for urologists by urologists. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Lakshman Prabhu, for a brief biography of Professor P. Venugopal. Now I request the President-elect, Dr. Lalit Shah, to pay his homage to Professor Venugopal.
We can.
Navneet, yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can.
Good evening, everyone. It's really a sad day for all of us. Dr. P. Venugopal was a teacher of teachers at heart, immaterial of the fact whether you are a student or not. He was a teacher to the core 24/7, 365, not only for urology, but for all aspects of life. His enthusiasm to actively participate in any academic discussion and GBM was exemplary and worth emulating. My interaction with him was since Manipal UCCon in early 80s, when I was a student and had gone there for presenting papers. I was neither his student nor his examiner, but since then, every time, periodically, whenever I would meet him and pay my regards in any of the conferences, he would inquire about the progress and motivate with a positive attitude. He might seem to be a little harsh at tongue with sometimes, but he had a heart full of love and affection, and his happiness was to be seen, to be believed when any youngster, whether student or not, informs about his progress in profession in life. He would feel extremely happy. And his personal rapport with everyone was very simple and in such a manner that everybody is feeling as if it is his or her personal loss. May his soul rest in peace. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lalit Bhai. Now I go to immediate past president, Dr. Ravindra Sabnis, for his message.
Thank you. It is definitely a sad day. And Dr. PVG sir, as he was very well known with that nomenclature, that he was teacher to everyone. And what we learn from him is the passion about the teaching and reading. In fact, we used to feel ashamed on so many times that the kind of updated knowledge which he had, kind of the articles in the recent journals which he had read, how we used to wonder that how he is remembering all that, because that was the passion which he had. A lot of us, many of us have taken that passion from him about the teaching. And one thing I must say about him is that his presence in conferences made everybody lively, because he used to ask questions and those questions were absolutely pertinent. His presence in the general body meeting was sometimes very horrible and people used to shiver about it. But when I asked him about it, that, sir, your presence creates a lot of problem for us. That time he said that, I don't care what anybody feels about it, but I'm here for USI, for the benefit of USI, for the USI is in my mind and in my heart. So that was the kind of thing he had about the Urological Society of India. Very surprisingly, he died at the age of 83. And when he was a president in 1983, as Lakshman said, he was the youngest president, but he was the longest surviving USI president. 40 years after he became president, he was surviving. So that is, I think, a unique record, which is difficult for any of us to break. We have learned a lot of things from him, not only the urology, but various other aspects. And most important thing is to do everything, whatever possible, for the Urological Society of India. And we as office bearers and the past office bearers learned that art from him, learned that passion from him, learned that enthusiasm from him. One thing which surprises me till now is the kind of memory which he had. In fact, as you cross 60 years, and we are all experiencing that, your memory goes down. You start forgetting so many things. But even at the age of 83 years, till such time that he was little bit serious in his health, his memory was very, very sharp. He used to remember each and every aspect in a finer detail, which was very, very surprising. I think this was a gift, God gift to him. Today, he is no longer with us, but certainly his qualities and what we learned from him will remain with us for many, many years to come. I feel sad, and I pay all condolences to his family members and all Urological Society of India. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sabnis. I can see Professor C. Chinnaswamy. Professor Chinnaswamy, can we unmute him?
He has to unmute himself.
Yeah. Is there somebody to help him? Professor Chinnaswamy, can you hear me?
Take somebody else till then.
So
Yeah.
I think we can go to Dr. Mahesh Desai, sir.
Yeah,
Mahesh
sir.
Desai.
Sure. Dr. Mahesh Desai, so please, your message.
Yeah. Well, this morning we heard the message. It saddened me. I knew him since 1979. He was a mentor to my colleague, Dr. Snehal Patel. And he used to very often visit us. And he was actually instrumental. In 1989, he came and stayed with us for 1 month. And he prepared our hospital because we wanted to start a teaching program. So, but then teaching program requires a certain amount of infrastructure. And he was there for almost 1 month in Riyadh. And then he told us, prepare library and all the small detail. And after that, we applied for it. We got recognized for 1 seat, and slowly it increased. And he was a frequent visitor to Riyadh because many workshops we used to do. He used to come and he was always fun. He was always guiding us all the time, and he was a good friend. And then when he started the Euro education, I became a part of his team, and he used to send so many papers and things for me to read and then write about it. I think Venugopal lived a life for the focus on teaching, and he trained so many students. He gave so many people guidance and help. I think we all should get together to celebrate his life, so that because he is the person, his life has been extremely useful to us, because when the urology was nothing in India, he was there, and then he started the teaching and training everywhere, advising everyone, and then he was critical all the time, and that helped us to. I think we'll miss him, and God give him all the peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mahesh Desai. Can we go to Dr. Ganesh Gopalakrishnan, please? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. My association with PVG is probably the longest than anybody else in the group today. From 1966, I have known him. Nalini was 2 years senior to me in college, and their love blossomed in the basement of the urology department, and where we used to go for our classes. And in the evening, after some tennis and games like that, I would spot the two of them, in a huddle together. And I realized the thing was that I knew Nalini very well because we were in the same house and I would make fun of her at this time. And it was not a question of being a teacher. He was more of a personal friend to me, and right throughout, it has been friendship. One can write volumes on our individual associations with PVG, and I'm very glad that I spent last year about 2 hours at tea with him, with a couple of other people in Mangalore. And that gives me a great degree of comfort that I actually spent a few hours with him. And knowing that, time was running out, and but he was still stoic and still very brave throughout this entire process. On his death, I can only remember the lines of Rabindranath Tagore: "Death is not extinguishing the light, but putting out the lamp because the dawn has come." May your soul rest in peace, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ganesh. Now, can we go to Professor N.P. Gupta, please? Gupta, sir? Yeah, can you unmute him? Thank you.
Yeah. Today is a sad day for all of us, as well as for the Indian Urology and Urology Society of India. I first time met Dr. Venugopal in Agra conference in 1979, when I joined faculty at AIMS, and after that was my first meeting. Then I met him, and in 83, when he became president, everybody was saying to him, "You are so young, past president has no role in USI, what you are going to do?" But I can tell you, till his last day, probably he has contributed every day to the urology. He was a great teacher, no doubt. I heard a lot from his students. He contributed to urology in several ways. The research foundation was his brainchild. Then he started that Euro education group. Every day through emails, we have so much of correspondence with him for many years till that group continued. And also I was meeting with him every time in UCCon. He will always see to it that he's there. Today we lost him, but I agree with Mahesh Bhai that we must celebrate his life, because he has achieved very great things in his life. One thing also, his contribution, we will never forget about his love and affection for the pediatric urology. And he was the one who was striving to start the pediatric urology section in Urology Society of India. And during the Shyam Joshi time, he also mentioned very clearly that he's a happy man that USI has started the section of pediatric urology. We pray Almighty for the peace for the departed soul, and we will always remember him in our lifetime for his contribution to the urology in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta, sir. Dr. Venugopal, no, Dr. C. Chinnaswamy, you want to say something about? We have to unmute you. Navneet, Professor C. Chinnaswamy, his son is there helping him.
Right, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Venu was my junior doing MCH in CMC, and later on we became colleagues, and then as the president of the USI, he did a lot of traveling and did great work. Myself, Professor Ranganath Rao, and Venu used to form a trio who used to manage a lot of urological meetings and student program. Venu was a great friend, and I talked to him about 10 days back. His voice was not as usual, but he said he was still going to Mangalore Hospital and make some rounds. His contribution to urology literature is great. It's a great thing that he survived for so many years after retirement, doing great urological work in spite of retirement. Something we must do to remember him forever. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you very much, Professor Chinnaswamy. Dr. Anil Takwan is there. He joined us.
Sir.
Or
Sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity, sir. For me and many of us, those who are his student. We are not direct students, but we learn from him like an eklavya. And in that way, he pioneered the web teaching, and we were all immensely benefited. And to say a couple of words for him, it's very difficult. I don't know how I can say, is he a mentor, a teacher, a guide, or a friend? It's very, very difficult, but he played all these roles in many of us' life, though we were not direct students of him. So he not only inspired us to take a specialty of interest, but he encouraged us, and that is how we could reach to this level of whatever we have achieved. We owe to him, absolutely. So not only teacher, he was a father figure for many of us, and we will be remembering him forever. We pray God to give him a place next to him. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Thank
sir,
you, Dr. Anil.
Can I,
Yeah.
there are several of his senior students.
Yeah.
Would I think call upon Dr. S.K. Pal, followed by Ram Gopal, D. Ramesh, to make, come one after the other and make very brief, presentations paying homage to the master. Dr. S.K. Pal. Pal, sir?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, very much.
I was a direct student to Dr. Venugopal. He changed my life at 26 years of age. I went to him and he selected me as one of the postgraduates. Those days, there used to be a differentiation between North Indians and South Indians. There was nothing in his mind. Out of 72 candidates, he selected me even when I was a North Indian. And then I stayed with him for 7 years. I knew him inside out, outside in. He was like a coconut, appearing very hard from outside, but very soft and kind-hearted from inside. His two teachings I will never forget. He used to tell me, whatever I have learned in my life, before I leave this world, I want to give it to you, to every student of mine. Don't hide anything, keep anything up your sleeve, teach everything, whatever you have learned. And secondly, he was very passionate about teaching. He will reading. He will always say, go and read, go and read. I used to spend 16 hours in a day with him for first 3 years because I was unmarried, the only unmarried candidate in that batch, in those 6 people. And I used to be with him from morning 7:30 to 11 in the night. 11 o'clock also, then he will say, no, now library is open up to 1 o'clock. Go and read for 2 hours. Otherwise, write this chapter and come. And next day morning 7:30, he will see that I have written 10, 15 pages, and then he will read that. That was the kind of teaching. And then a free hand for surgical exercise. For 4 years continuously, he gave me free hand when I joined him as an assistant professor in urology. And he will give me 4, 5 theaters and 6 PGs to deal with. He will never interfere, no administrative headaches. And I remember with him with my heart, I was almost like his family member. Dr. Nalini stayed with us before her death. Just 3 months before her death, she had come to Ludhiana for an examination, and she stayed with us, and we were so close. I am really sorry that we have lost him. And whatever the USI decides for him, I will be there wholeheartedly. We should remember him, his teachings throughout his life. I convey deep sense of gratitude to him and pray to Almighty that he is given space. I'm sorry for being a little emotional.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Ramu, can you come in?
Yes.
Dr. Ram Gopal.
Yeah, it's indeed a very, very sad day for all of us, like many of us have echoed. And it's only because of Professor Venugopal, it's because of him that I become a urologist, and I'm sure all of us have. I was actually in KMC in Mangalore, and as a student, as a postgraduate student, I had given a lecture on testicular tumors. He was so impressed with that, and he actually took me to Valley View on that day to give a bottle of beer. He was so loving, and then finally, when I did not apply for urology that year, he was looking for me. When I went to his office, he said, "Where's your application? Where's the application? I'm looking for it." That's how loving and focused he was on students that he identified a potential. And I do not have any more words to say. I have my sincere gratitude to him for really nurturing me and also furthering my professional career. I really pray, Lord Almighty, to keep his soul rest in peace, and I pray to his family to bear this loss. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ramu. D. Ramesh. Ramesh.
Just a brief word, just offer my condolences to the family, Anand and his family. Like everybody says, those who studied with him and worked with him in Manipal know the kind of legacy that he has built and the taskmaster that he was when he was a teacher to us. Paul put his words perfectly well. Like he was like a coconut, hard on the exterior and soft on the interior. Unfortunately, a few of us at that generation, Lakshman, Ashok, myself, saw him at a very sad moment at that era. That's when he lost his second son. And we all were part of that tragedy at that time. And that was the softest or the most cruelest part of his life, I feel, when he lost his second son at a very young age. And we all lived through that tragedy with him. And so he got out of that very fast. And he continued on his career at Belgaum and subsequently at Calicut. And he strived hard to continue the urological education in spite of his retirement. Anytime that I had something to refer to or found difficult to get access, I used to just call him and tell him, and he would send me multiple referral articles of the same topic or even textbooks. He was so good. I used to tell him that he used to teach more now than what he was teaching when he was my teacher. He was so good at his work at teaching. I can just say that we all have learned a lot from him, benefited immensely. Our generation has benefited immensely by being his students, and what we are today, we fully owe to him. Sir, rest in peace.
Dr. Ajay Bhandarkar, another student of his. Dr. Arun Chawla, be ready. Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And I think like my seniors and previous students, we were said all together about him. We were fondly known as Venu's boys. And I was one of the boys, as Professor Mahesh Desai said, that he used to visit very often in Nadia. Then I was doing my pre-residency at Nadia. Then he picked me up from there. And since morning, ever since I have read the news, I have been remembering all those days, that how we interacted at Nadia, how he got interested in my study of optical crystallography, of stone studies, and he got a special microscope for me in the department when I joined the department. And he was the great teacher, as everybody has said. So much of greatness that, as Dr. Ramesh said, that when he had to leave the department and went to Calicut, me and my colleague Manohar used to go and stay at his house every weekend. And Madam used to cook for us, and we used to have, his teachings from morning to evening on the weekend. So that type of a dedication I will never see. I don't think that in the future also it is very difficult to replicate. And we all students of him, like Lakshman says, direct disciples,
we have lost our father today. So I'm little more emotional today. I pray Almighty for his.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Chawla, who is now helming the department which was raised by Professor P. Venugopal. Dr. Arun Chawla, ISU chair, please.
Yes. Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think the morning when you spoke to me, it was a sad day to begin with. As everybody said, PVG sir has touched our lives and lives of many in a way that words cannot express. We have lost a true master of art of teaching and we'll miss him very dearly. As everybody said, his dedication to urology and his students was truly remarkable. And his passion for teaching was contagious and personally made me fall in love with reading, learning, and more learning. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Yeah. Professor G.K. Venkatesh, I think he's one of our elders from Karnataka where Venu sir served most. Sir, could you please come in? Can somebody? Yeah. And then we have two past presidents logged in, Dr. Madhusudan Agarwal and Dr. Karpekar. Sir, please be ready. Yeah. Professor Venkatesh, yeah. Yes, sir. Please, sir. Please.
My association with Dr. Venugopal actually started in the Department of Victoria Hospital, where he used to visit his friend, Dr. Annamalai, who was our professor. To our luck, when I joined PG course in 1981-82, he became president of Urological Society of India. He used to travel from Manipal, Mangalore to Bangalore by night bus and take a flight to different places in the country to preside or take look after the work of presidential of Urological Society of India. See, his commitment was so good. He used to come by night bus. One of us used to go and pick him up from the bus stand, take him to Victoria Hospital duty room. He used to have a small shower and stay with us with breakfast and teach us till he gets his flight and goes to Delhi or Calcutta or Madras, Examiner and other things. On the way back again, he used to come back to Bangalore to catch his night bus. And that used to be really a gala evening for us. We used to join him basically, of course, only for teaching purpose. And we used to have gala dinner and of course, his usual cocktails and other things. We used to leave him to the bus stand at 11 o'clock in the night. Till then, he used to teach us. See, that is the commitment which he had. Actually, we used to tell those days we had short of teaching faculty in Bangalore Medical College. And in fact, Venugopal filled that by as an additional person visiting almost every month to Bangalore and took care of our PG courses. Afterwards, of course, when we actually visioned to start the Institute of Nephrology, he was one of the strong person who actually advised us to go ahead because he knew the problems of running a department in government sector. He said, Venkatesh, go ahead and do this. And he used to guide us in every step. Of course, it was very sad to hear the news, even though it was expected for quite some time, that is the end may come anytime. But it was quite saddening in the morning to hear about it. I wish him a sadgati in his next place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. The two past presidents, Dr. Madhu, Dr. Karpekar, followed by if Dr. Devanathan is there, I want Dr. Devanathan to be ready. Vikram,
Dr. Kotwal Subhash Kotwal is also there. Dr. Ajit Waze. So for few past presidents.
Yeah, Dr. Devanathan is a senior most student of Dr. Venugopal. Dr. Devanathan, if you're there briefly, and then we'll go to the past presidents. It's appropriate that we call Dr. Devanathan. Dr. Vikram, if you can hear me, Dr. Devanathan is there?
Yeah.
Please. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity. I joined the Department of Urology in 1978, and God gave me an opportunity to join the department, and God gave me an opportunity, a good teacher with whom I stayed for several years and learned urology. Inside the hospital, he was a good teacher, and outside the hospital, he was a good friend of mine. In fact, his contribution to urology in all sections was excellent and unmatchable. And I should say that the interest that he showed in pediatric urology made me to have more interest in pediatric urology, and carried out all his interest in pediatric urology in a small city like Trichy, and still I continue to practice pediatric urology the same way that he guided me. With his absence, I'm sure many people, many urologists in our country will feel they are a great loss, a good a teacher we have lost, and to replace him in that place, it will be very difficult to get one. May his soul rest in peace. Om Shanti.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Kandaswamy, would you like to say something? Another very close colleague of Professor P. Venugopal. Dr. Kandaswamy, if you're there, please come in. Dr. Keshamurthy, get ready. Then we'll go to the past presidents. Dr. Kandaswamy, sir, please.
It's I feel its loss is a great thing personally, not only for the Urological Society, but personally both for me and my wife. And my association with him started somewhere around 33 years ago when I went to Manipal to get my son admitted for MBBS. And he was willing to come along with me to see Mr. Pai. It was not very easy. He took me to the back doors, and so that I could meet Mr. Pai and get my son's admission very easily in Mangalore. So that's the time we got our associate. Subsequently, I had gone to Manipal several times for workshops on ureteroscopy and PCNL. And then subsequently, he used to come to our house several times. Whenever he passes through Coimbatore, he will come and stay with us. And I remember the days when, he used to come to our kitchenette, have the coffee in the morning. He used to enjoy the coffee made by my wife. And I cannot forget that. And even for the condolence of his son, both myself and my wife went to see his family at that time. And it is really a great loss, personally, for both of us, and for my son also, because he used to go and meet him very frequently when he was studying, doing his MBBS at Mangalore. So he used to go to Manipal and meet him, and he was such a great help. I cannot forget that. So I think it's a very sad day for both me and my wife, and may I wish his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Keshamurthy, immediate past secretary, please come in, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Lakshman. It's a very sad day for the Urological Society of India. I met Dr. Professor Venugopal when he came as an examiner for my entrance exam at Puttaparthi. I was the first student at Puttaparthi, and he took practical examination for me for 1 hour after our theory. And that is when I had the first interaction, after which he visited Puttaparthi multiple times to teach us, and his teaching session would end only at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the night. And he would teach us X-ray KUB for 2 hours or 3 hours on a single X-ray KUB. That was his passion for teaching. The administration side, after I took over as treasurer and then subsequently secretary of the USI, I cannot remember how many hours he has spoken to me over phone, guiding me on what the Urological Society of India should be. Anytime there was a mistake, he would first give me a ring and give more than an hour of talk on what should be done, what should be the way the Urological Society of India should progress. I had the fortune when Lakshman called us for the centenary postal stamp release of Dr. H.S. Bhatt in Mangalore. When I went, met him, and we spent few hours with him, and then he came for the function, and that was a moment to cherish. And after that, I have spoken to him a few times, but 2 days back when Lakshman was with us, we were inquiring about his health, and Lakshman told he's not doing well. And it was a shocking news for me today morning that he had passed away after we spoke a few days back. Great man, passion for dedication and for teaching. You cannot, the Urological Society of India will miss him. May his soul rest in peace. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much. So, Dr. Kapekar, sir, you're there? Dr. Kotwal, Dr. Ajit
Can-
was
can-
Yeah,
can you
please
hear
come
me?
in one. Yeah. Sir, can we have you, sir?
It was
Yeah.
sad news early in the morning. I was one of the unfortunate ones who had never opportunity to work with him directly. But you have no idea how much I learned from him in the last 40 years in so many aspects of life. He was very close to SSB, and so I used to visit Pune quite often. And that's how I got to know him more and more and more. And I know all his disciples who are all top guys today, what I missed. One thing about Professor Venugopal was he was absolutely clear in his thoughts, frank, and there was no politics involved whatsoever. And that was the best thing that I found as far as he's concerned. And of course, me and him had a different relation over the evening. I'm going to miss him tremendously. Let his soul rest in peace.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Kotwal, sir, can you please come in? Dr. Wazir, sir, be ready because we have a lot of ground to cover. Yeah, please.
Can you hear me? Lakshman, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Please come in, sir. Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Actually, how does one begin to talk of a legend like PVG? I mean, there are so many memories that come to mind. And one of the early ones I remember is the UCCon held in Delhi when I was part of the organizing committee and PVG decided to contest for president. And I remember the then Honorary Secretary, Professor Ranganatha Rao, telling him, what do you want to contest for presidency? I mean, you're 48. What are you going to do after that? But he did contest and he did become president. And I think the youngest president that the US has ever had at 48 was PVG. Later on, of course, we interacted very often and he had very forthright views on most subjects, very outspoken, contributed a lot to the academic discussions. And I must confess, when I was president, he gave me a hard time with all his critical letters, but we were very good friends. We continued to remain very close through because we had a common hobby. During a conference, he and I would slip out for our usual cigarette. He used to look forward to it. He used to look for me and say, what are you doing inside? Come, let's go for some fresh air. And that was one thing I really enjoyed. In the course of those smokes, I learned a tremendous lot from him. And then we went to put a party together when Dr. Bhatt was to be commemorated. And he really took charge of me, took me around the whole campus, which he knew very well. And it was a delightful 3 days that we spent together. And then he sprung a surprise. He sprung a surprise by writing an email to me. I want to become chairman of the education cell. I had a very tough time convincing him that he was overqualified for the job. He says, no, why can't I be chairman of the board of education? So we had lively interactions all through, and it is difficult to believe that he is no more. And our conferences will be not the same again. And for me personally, I was very close to him, and I really cannot imagine USI without PVG. I suppose one of the happy memories that I have is when I had to deliver the P. Venugopal Memorial Oration at Bangalore, and he was in the audience, of course, and that was a great delight. And I told him at the end of it, for once, you sat down and listened to me. And that was a joke we shared for a long time. So it's been a very long association, and this news was shocking, came out of the blue. I suppose it was expected since he wasn't keeping very good health. But then a great man, great philosophy of life, and he has left behind a void that can never be filled. May he rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Madhu Agarwal, briefly, sir, because we have a paucity of time. I'll be calling some youngsters also, because it will be very, very unfair to Professor Venugopal Sir if I don't call Praveen, and some youngsters are there. Before that, I think we'll request the past presidents. Dr. Madhu Agarwal, so you are able to join us. Dr. Aziz Waze. Dr. Madhu Agarwal. Yeah. Can we have Dr. Madhu Agarwal? Dr. Aziz Waze? Sir? Yeah. So I'll now, I think randomly I'll move on to some of our youngsters, and then also, you know, who are dear to Dr. Venugopal. Praveen, please come in. Praveen, Dr. Praveen Kumar. Yeah, be brief. Yeah. Praveen, please come in.
Lakshman sir, thank you, sir. I am Venugopal sir left Manipal around 92-93, and I joined the Department of Urology in 2011. That is roughly 20 years after Venugopal sir left the department. Very soon I joined. I realized the foundation what Venugopal has set, it has been lasting for more than 20 years. That was something very great. And whenever we met sir, I used to tell about him. And as a postgraduate, as a registrar, he used to tell us, guide us. He used to encourage us. Even after so many years, I mean, life what sir led is simply remarkable. And I have heard a lot about Venugopal sir through Professor Joseph Thomas sir, my head of the department, and other senior people. It was always very pleasure interacting, and always it was enthusiastic when sir was around. And I really miss sir on this.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen. Thank you, Dr. Madhu Agarwal. So could you please come in? Dr. Madhu Agarwal, Dr. Ajit Waze. Okay, can we have Dr. Jayesh Kurchadkar if he's there? He was very close to Dr. Venu sir. Okay, Dr. Chandramohan, come in. Dr. Kannan, please be there. I'll come to you. Dr. Kannan, Krishnaswamy Kannan, please be there. Chandramohan, briefly.
Yes, sir.
30 seconds.
Sir,
30 seconds.
I regret the passage of a great professor. The only thing I wanted to tell is after I concentrated on RIRS, he has sent me 3 months nearly every day one article related to the RIRS in children. He said that you read, you don't have time in private practice, at least I will send you read it. This is the message I got it. Unimaginable, sir. Unimaginable for his commitment. I heard from all of you. Unimaginable. Thank you, sir. I pray God for his soul to be rested.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Dr. Kannan, briefly. I know you have lots to tell us, but briefly, Dr. Kannan.
I have a lot to tell about Dr. PVG.
Yeah, but be brief because I have to go to many. There are 79 logged in. Yeah, he has touched many lives. Please.
Dr. PVG is the son-in-law of my place, Trichy. Madam is from Trichy. And one thing, I still have the lamp which the couple came and gave it to me, blessing me. Again, something Dr. Anil said and Dr. Anish said. If you have any doubt in urology, the one person you can definitely depend upon is Professor PVG. Anything you have a problem, you just write to him. He will send you the bulk of material. And for me, today is just a day. PVG is with me, in my heart, with me personally. I miss him physically, but I will never miss him mentally. I second all the good sentiments said, but take it from me, PVG will continue to live with me mentally.
Thank you, sir. We'll go to one of the recent students of Dr. Venugopal. Dr. Tushar, can you come in for a... Dr. Tushar.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Lakshman sir, for giving me opportunity.
Yeah.
Dr. Venugopal sir.
Yeah.
Dr. Venugopal sir has taught us in my residency days, sir. And he used to come thrice a week from 8 in the morning, and he used to grill us till he finishes. And because of his teachings only, we are today what we are, and we passed because of his teachings only. And we are very, very saddened today to hear this news. 3 days back, Dr. Sanman sir told me about his health, and I really wanted to talk to him, but I couldn't because sir told he is not able to speak now. Rest in peace, sir. We will always remain grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tushar. Dr. Kurchadkar is there from Goa. Yeah. Dr. Madhu Agarwal, you're there? I'll request Anil Alliance to come in because he also was a part of our department. Briefly though. Dr. Anil, please.
Yes, I was lucky enough. He was my first guru in urology. I joined KMC Manipal soon after I finished my MS, and I was there for 6 odd months. And I remember we have talked of pediatric urology and his continued passion to teach and keep learning and keep sending materials to everyone, including me. But something which all students of his would know is that he made us into radiologist also, because he insisted on all of us doing the radiology ourselves and then would grill us on the IVUs that we produced. And one thing which I can never forget is the Sunday rounds that we used to think. At one time, we used to think they used to go on, but looking back today, it was with great pleasure that those hours that we spent standing at the nursing station and listening to his words of wisdom. He was a man who was never minced his words. He said what he wanted to and never kept anything in his heart. He was a true urologist whose every breath had urology in it. And I wish him that his soul achieve Sadgati. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you very much. Dr. Kim Maman, can you come briefly, sir? Dr. Kim Maman. Dr. Kim, sir,
Yes,
please come. Yeah, please.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. This was a very sad day. I think the saddest day of my life. Dr. Venugopal, sir, was my examiner for MCH, and again for my DNB urology, he was the examiner. And both these exams, he finished only at 11 p.m. at night. And after we finished the exam, he wanted to meet my family, and we had a close rapport. Even after that, he had come and visited me at CMC Ludhiana and gave me all the tips how to start a department. And when I took over as USI secretary, he had sent me a long email telling me what I should do and what I should not do. And he's been my mentor all throughout. A good teacher. I was part of the Euro education, and any good article he used to send it to me, and I had to give some comments, and that was a great teaching experience. And I also knew Dr. Nalini quite well. I spent 1 month at Manipal during our MCH training, and we had sessions with Dr. Nalini where she used to teach us uropathology. And I also wish to convey my heartfelt condolences to Anand, who was a radiologist, and I knew him quite well. And it's a great opportunity for USI also to have him as the youngest president. And we will all miss him. And I think, as Dr. Mahesh Desai sir said, we should celebrate his life and his contribution to Urological Society of India. Thank you very much. May his soul rest in peace.
I would like to thank you, sir. I would like to go to Rakesh from Shimuga, another favorite disciple, a young disciple of PVG, I would say, from our center. Rakesh, please come in. Sujata ma'am, if you are there,
Yes,
please stand by.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, all. Thank you for this opportunity. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, go ahead. Be brief. Go ahead. Pay homage to sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just remember, sir, whatever it is, we used to remember him for his time. We had our classes at 8 a.m. We used to come at 8. He used to be there in the department by 7:50. At his age of 75 plus, never missed to be on time for our classes. And ChatGPT has come a year ago. He was our ChatGPT when we were PGs. Give him any question, he used to give an article back for us. And one thing was, he was never smooth with his words. He was very blatant. Whenever I used to ask him, sir, why do you scold in such a harsh words? He used to tell, if I scold smoothly, you never remember why I had scolded. And he used to speak from heart as well as from brain. Whenever he spoke from his brain, he used to call Rakesh. And whenever he spoke from his heart, he used to say, son, come here. So that was his way of teaching us. One favorite quote of his was, you can take the horse to the water, but you cannot make the horse drink the water. But believe me, given an opportunity, he would put a rice tube into the horse and feed the water directly into it. That was his dedication. We miss him, but as he used to always be in his day in out and day out, he used to celebrate his life. So we have to celebrate his life and wish that his soul attains Sadgati. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Sujata, ma'am, Chairman-elect ISU, ma'am, for a brief homage.
Yes, sir. I do remember, sir, and with a great saddened heart. And I remember that he, in spite of not being his student and not being known to him, he always had kind words for me, and he used to send all his references, and he used to be so kind and loving, and that definitely left an impression about him and his legacy. And today we just heard more about it. God bless his soul and may he rest in peace.
Thank you very much. Dr. Prakash Prabhu, another person close to Dr. Venugopal, used to come on every birthday of Professor PVG to Mangalore from Mysore. Sir, brief homage.
Yeah, no, actually, I'm so sad today, morning 5:15, when I saw your message. And our association with Professor Venugopal is like his father. He's father of urology, he's father of our society also. Always I used to take him to our workshops. It was my pleasure to get him all the way from Mangalore. But the last workshop I could not get him because of very, very poor. I'm taught like a student. I learned a lot of things, practical things, and I pray the great homage, and I always keep in my heart as to always ask him the solutions for my all difficult cases. So much so in KMC Bangalore, he used to always ask me, please send your IVUs, because we used to get a very good IVUs from Mysore, and all difficult cases were discussed. I pray the Almighty to give him Sadgati.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I request Dr. Prashant Mulaukar, Dr. Vashni to be ready, Dr. Santosh from Vellore. Dr. Santosh, briefly, our council members, you would like to pay homage. Dr. Santosh, Dr. Prashant Mulaukar after that. No, we have a few more. Yeah. Dr. Prashant, could you come in?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, actually, before this Uro Education group was formed, I had started one group called Urology India, and he was actively participating in Urology India. But then that was only limited to India. He said, let's broaden our wings and let's all cover all urologists in the world. He was very interested in teaching, and sometimes he used to also call me for some explanation about the case that was being discussed online. So although I'm not a very direct student of PVG, I learned a lot from him, and I pray for the homage to the departed soul. Let him get Sadgati. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Dr. Santosh from CMC Vellore, where Professor is an alumnus of CMC Vellore, second disciple. Dr. Santosh would like to say something. No, Dr. Anil Vashne, you're there.
Thank you, Dr. Lakshman. It's really a very sad moment, and I was never a direct student, but I prayed and worshipped him always because of the dedication and sincerity to teaching and education and being upright always. And I endorse all the views which have been said, and it's really an unfortunate day, and my homage to be registered. With that, I pray to God that he gets Sadgati and Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Dr. Santosh. Dr. Gautaman, be ready. Yeah, you are also very close to Professor. A brief homage. Dr. Santosh from CMC Vellore. Yeah, Dr. Gautaman, please go ahead.
My association with the professor was very unique. I was neither a student. Met him in a workshop in 1998, and the last 25 years, he has been a father to me, a godfather and a father. In every occasion, he has helped me out and given me very clear and advices with such a clarity and simplicity, which has helped me. May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you very much, Gautam. Dr. Pankaj Maheshwari, our treasurer. Sir, would you please come in for a brief homage?
Thank you, Dr. Lakshman. I have not directly been a student of Venugopal sir, but his presence always would make you feel that there is a lot to learn. just his presence there would elevate the discussion level. And all throughout, whenever I met him, it was always a pleasure to see him. It was always he would be there to teach something, and I really thought that I have lost something great in my life today. I pray for his Sadgati.
Thank you very much. Dr. K.R. Nair, sir, you are there. Can you come in for a brief homage? Dr. K.R. Nair. I'm going random because these were all very close to Venu, sir. We'll take additional few minutes with the permission of the chair. With the president's permission, another 3 or 4 minutes, sir.
Hello.
Dr. Nair, please, sir, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead,
My
sir.
association with Dr. Venugopal was when I was doing MCH in Trivandrum Medical College under Dr. David Joseph. He was my teacher. He used to come there sometimes for having discussion, and then during my MCH examination, he was my examiner, and he has grilled me a lot, but ultimately I came through the examination. And after that, my association with him was during the various conferences of Urological Society of India, and we used to discuss the various problems in urology. And I have learned a lot from him. And during my work in the military as a urologist, he used to guide me whenever I used to talk to him about urological problems. And it is a sad day for me that he left us, and I pray to the God Almighty to give him peace for his Atma. And he has, from the association with him, and I wish that the Lord Vishnu give him peace in Vishnu Lok, and I pray Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti to his Atman. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Venu, sir, was very close to Calicut Urology Club. Anybody from Calicut Urology Club can raise in the, yeah. In the meantime, I request Dr. Santosh from Vellore if he's there. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Please go ahead, sir. Yeah. Dr. Madhusudan Agarwal is there. Sir, can we have you for a minute? Yeah, I think, President, sir, I think we have covered quite a few, and this was done random without any bias. And I would thank all those who had logged in today to pay him homage to the master, the teacher of teachers. And I will send a circular requesting you all the 5,400 plus urology members, in some way or the other, you would have been connected with him through the Euro Education platform. Write your impressions about it. So we are going to bring in a supplement, and the deadline for that would be the 15th of August. Tell your friends. And before I go back to the president, I am looking for anybody from the pediatric urology section. Anil has spoken. Dr. Ansari, sir, Amilal, but anybody? Yeah, Dr. Vikram Sridharan, would you like to say anything? From Trichy. Venu, sir.
Yes, sir.
The son-in-law of Trichy, briefly, yeah.
I was not a direct disciple, but sir always considered me as his son or his grandson. So he has always encouraged me, and I miss him so much. May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Sandeep. Dr. Sandeep.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Sandeep. Yeah, Sandeep, yeah, thank you very much. I missed you. Sorry. You're one of the direct disciples of Professor Venu, sir. Please come in, Sandeep.
I was actually his 26th and last outgoing student of Dr. Venugopal. And the amount of love and affection which we got from him is unimaginable. He came to Ludhiana 2-3 times and he told me, you have to start MCH in urology, otherwise you resign and go back to Yamunanagar. So with his grace and blessings, we have 2 PG students now per year. And I was in constant touch with him. He was like a father to me, very close and very affectionate. And we were very close to, whole my family was very close to him and Ma'am Nalini. And we are going to miss him. All his students are going to miss him. And I'm going to miss him in person. And may God bless him and rest his soul in peace. Thank you.
Dr. Jayesh
is
Kurcharkar.
there.
Yeah.
Kurcharkar. Jayesh. Yeah, please. Dr. Jayesh, I can see you. Sangha. Unmute yourself. Yeah. Can somebody unmute? Yeah.
We can't hear you. You have to unmute. Navneet?
Okay, who is there on the line?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Jayesh, who are there on the panel?
Yeah, go ahead. Jayesh,
go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, me and Prashant Patnaik Lakshman.
Yes.
We visited Venu sir.
I heard so.
On Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Sir recognized us.
Yeah.
Sir held my hand and he says, and of course your student was there attending him.
Yes.
And sir saw us and he was happy. He tightly held my hand. And me and Prashant then had to leave on Sunday. But Sunday I was in contact with Anand. And we returned home on Sunday evening. Prashant had a flight back to Bombay. And Monday I got a news from Anand, of course. So Anand had told me he's sinking. That's why we hurried up to meet him. Yeah. I had a talk with him on Monday on phone. Monday he was talking to me very nicely. He sunk on Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah. And he had told Anand not to take him to the hospital.
Yes, sir. That was his wish. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jayesh. Thank you. We will have Surya Prakash, the Secretary of Association of Southern Urologists, for a minute.
Sir,
please,
thank you, sir.
Please come in, Surya Prakash. Yeah, please.
Thanks for the opportunity, sir. It's a great loss, sir, for not entire urology fraternity of India, especially for the South Zone. Actually, 2 months back, sir called me and he asked me for his ASU ID. So it was surprising. I said, I want to update my address in the South Zone directory. So that was his kind of passion and interest in education and in teaching the students. And it's a great loss for all of us, sir, especially for the South Zone. And one thing, he is very particular about the South Zone being called Association of Southern Urology. Whenever I mention in the newsletter that SZUSI, he said, no, you correct it, you make it Association of Southern Urology. This is how the association was started, and it should remain like that. It should be called only the Association of Southern Urologists. He's a great man. It's a great loss to all of us, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Surya Prakash. In fact, I had when there were 2 programs of the USI. One is USI Cares at Jhansi, and the Indian school was conducting a program in Thane. And on Thursday, some of us had to leave station. When I had called him, he had held my hand. He said, "Don't worry, I'll be there till Monday morning." And he was as good as his word. So I could be present physically here. All the brethren, I'm happy that even Sujata ma'am could represent the WOU here. And I could be there during when the last rites were performed. And at his feet, I could place a wreath on behalf of Urological Society of India, on behalf of the President and the Council. And it was a very sad moment. I think it will remain a very sad moment as the Secretary of Urological Society of India to do this. But I felt that it should be done on behalf of 5,400 members. And that is what I did this morning. And you can go on and on about this man, but he has left several monuments, I would say. And these monuments are the teaching and the teaching spaces which has created. When you trace the genealogy of urological departments in this country, you can trace them to Vellore, you can trace them to Madras, trace them to Bombay, then PGI Chandigarh and AIIMS. And most of the departments have come then onwards. The first from Vellore, Venu sir started the Department of Urology at Manipal. And then as you heard that the secondary departments have even been, they have come up in a place like Ludhiana. Dr. Sandeep was telling us just a while ago, Bangalore, in Belgaum, in Mangalore, everywhere. And this is the magic of education. And it is said that the best thing one can do to remain there, remain immortal forever is by teaching. And his impact will be felt for a long, long time. With these few words, I would request, I'll go back to the President to conclude the proceedings of this condolence.
Lakshman?
Yes. Sir,
Lakshman, thank you so much for doing this on behalf of USI. We all appreciate what you've done.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. And those who are not logged in, I'll reach out to them because many might want to, and some of them may not have had the time to log in. Some were logged in but could not be given the opportunity. And the President has instructed me that a supplement should be brought out, and that will be done. And there, I think we will get everyone to write briefly about their interactions about the master. Thank you very much. Over to the President for the concluding remarks.
First of all, I thank all the participants, all the past presidents, all the USI members who have contributed to the memories of what we call him PVG, we call him Venu sir, we call him Guruji. But these are the various names. Guruji I learned from Dr. Lakshman Prabhu, and I really like that word. He is Guruji of Gurujis. He is a legend. He is a giant in giant of urology, teacher of teachers, and then the youngest president, started Uro education, pediatric urology, and what is going to happen? We are going to miss him in the gender body because his presence was essential for a lot of good things that happened in Urology Society of India. So Venu sir, we are going to miss you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I would like to thank all those who had logged in and thank the central office for facilitating this condolence meeting. We will be writing to the family. In fact, I could meet Dr. Anand Venugopal and convey our condolences. We'll be formally doing that.
So I called up Dr. Lakshman Prabhu in the morning as soon as I got the news, and I said, today is the right day for us to have a condolence meeting rather than postponing by a few days or maybe a week. So I'm happy that so many people could join and pay their condolences remembering PVG. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much once again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.